Okay.
And recording is in progress.
Right, excellent. So thank you very much, Andrew. Welcome to this 2021-23 Indigenous Global Unity Summit event on this Thursday, October 19th, 2023. This is now week 124 of this series. First, I would like to say to all of our friends from Africa, or Kibulan, Asante Sana, or thank you very much in Swahili. I do also like to say Saubona, which means I see you, I see myself in you, I see your hopes, your dreams, and your struggles. I see your ancestors as well. Because interconnectedness does not end with two people who are greeting each other, it extends to include the ancestors. Since all beings and Mother Nature are interconnected, there is no sense of being separate. I see myself in all beings, and therefore, if I harm other beings or Mother Nature, it translates into harming myself. So I will put things into the chat a little bit later, just so we can accelerate this introduction. So welcome to this short presentation before our guest speaker comes on. I want to spend only a few minutes explaining a little bit about the Global Unity Network, aka UnityNet. UnityNet is a network that's being created by UnityNet International, a humanitarian enterprise and global sustainable and regenerative development corporation, supporting and promoting the local delivery of open source regenerative climate smart infrastructure set up as life learning gardens, which come in various configurations. We call them community Unity Garden learning centers. We're also leveraging a neat process for globalizing delivery and achievement of the global goals, starting with the Sustainable Development Goals, and in future, the Regenerative Development Goals, RDGs. As we anticipate, they may be called. We are also offering services that allow our other companies who partner with us to make money doing what they do best, while supporting the achievement of these global goals. So first, I do like to start with the land acknowledgement. To acknowledge those that came before us on this land, I would like to say this land acknowledgement. We begin today by acknowledging that we walk upon the traditional territories of Indigenous peoples. We recognize their history, spirituality, culture, and stewardship of the land. We're grateful to all Indigenous groups for their commitment to protect the land and its resources. We are committed to reconciliation, partnership, and enhanced understanding. We'd like to thank the Indigenous peoples of these lands for sharing this land with us. In our role as settlers and visitors and displaced people on this land, we share the responsibility of challenging and disrupting colonial systems that enact violence upon the land and stand in solidarity with Indigenous peoples. We also acknowledge and recognize all of the world's Indigenous peoples as stewards of Mother Earth. So my name is Lloyd Halferty. I am co-founder of UnityNet International, a hybrid holistic practicum learning system management company based in Canada that also assists with community partnership building locally and globally, or as we like to say globally, by leveraging a unique set of community engagement activities developed in partnership with the members of the AHIABGA International Advisory Board of Goodwill Ambassadors. I am also the Chief Ecosystem Director, Program Development Director, and a Sustainable Society Consultant with Energen Institute, which is headquartered in Manhattan, New York. It is a private 501(c)(3) nonprofit company that is a member of the UN Global Compact and a UN Academic Impact member and partner. We started out as a virtual university that was created to help empower global populations to reestablish a sustainable balance with their local environments by designing and implementing projects that support a strong and diversified local economy, while integrating core sustainable technologies and infrastructure into these communities in the areas of renewable energy, high-density food growth solutions, along with systems for sustainably managing local waste streams and protecting local water resources. So what UnityNet is doing is intended to facilitate regenerative globalization by helping to identify and bring together all of the local, regional, national, and international partners required for creating global multi-stakeholder partnerships, or AHIABGA collaborative empowerment networks that help to empower our local regenerative development solutions providers, our UnityNet female and feminist humanitarian entrepreneurs in all of our local communities worldwide. We're assisting in the global transition to a responsible, localized, productive, compassionate, collaborative, regenerative economy that aims to leave no one behind as we approach the end of the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, from 2015 to 2030. The purpose of the UnityNet is to develop a system to localize the global goals, the SDGs currently, and in future the RDGs, or Regenerative Development Goals. We do this by developing and assisting in the delivery of community engagement activities that can be used by communities as tools for creating the localized partnerships as per SDG 17, Partnerships for the Goals. So our community is here to help our members establish partnerships and empowerment networks so their local community is investment ready. Our UnityNet partners will also help them to establish their own local community-based, regional, or watershed-based social enterprise if they need some assistance as well with that. Our work is not for charitable giving. We focus on productive, regenerative, climate-smart investments, supporting people and planet holistically. The team at UnityNet International is trying to find ways to facilitate and create pathways for investors and investment funds to go not just into the regenerative projects, but also into local humanitarian enterprises run as community and watershed and ecoregion-based social enterprises. These social enterprises are intended to be built and run by our FFHE members. What we're building here, all of our social structures and networks of network, these are intended to facilitate investment into people and the related regenerative infrastructure they need in order to thrive in a much different climate. So for the members of UnityNet, we must always remember that we're fighting with peace and not for it, which means using higher consciousness to achieve our objectives. We're not fighting a war with each other to save the planet. We're making peace with the planet to save ourselves. This is the strategy being delivered at the grassroots level in all of our local communities and will allow us to create a shared consciousness with peacemaking that is more contagious than fear and war. So in summary, the unity that we're helping to achieve within UnityNet is a global unity of community, starting with our UnityNet female and feminist humanitarian entrepreneurs, our local humanitarian entrepreneurs who are delivering the local solutions for achieving the global goals, those SDGs, and the RDGs post-2030. Under our UnityNet system of establishing youth peace gardens in all of our local communities, we can ensure that all people can recognize the humanity in other humans. We want to ensure that the next generation of young people will no longer dehumanize other humans as lesser than just because of their differences. Instead, the members of UnityNet celebrate our humanity and celebrate our diversity, all of our diverse cultures and histories on all continents and islands globally, through the establishment of local youth peace gardens, where each one is twinned with others around the world across what may be very diverse cultures, and where we seek to bring together all human beings in common purpose to address two main goals of those global goals that are universal of all living things, humans included. The first is SDG 2, Zero Hunger, because all humans eat food and require it for survival and growth. And the second is SDG 13, Climate Action, because all humans live on this planet we call Earth, and we have no other home but this one. No matter how much people may want to go to live on Mars, we simply cannot ship billions of people to another planet that does not support life as we know it and which we are part of. Thus, we do our work within UnityNet through the transformation of our food systems, not just toward regenerative climate-smart production systems, but also toward the establishment of localized supply chains, going global and local simultaneously. This work is done by establishing a network of local, productive, regenerative, and climate-smart community projects that we call the Community Unity Garden Learning Centers, established as community unity hubs and peace centers in all of our local communities of UnityNet, using the various open source regenerative climate smart infrastructure solutions that are built and run by the local productive cooperative humanitarian enterprises that will be managed by our FFHE members and empowered by the AHIABGA Collaborative Network. And where our FFHE members, by working in partnership with the existing local schools and our network of mentors, will learn how to build, operate, maintain, and manage these local productive community businesses and enterprises for the benefit of all stakeholders in their own local communities and watersheds, always with the goal of leaving no one behind. But we start with the Youth Peace Gardens. So in conclusion, the overall purpose of UnityNet is to establish a global network of interfaith, neighborhood, academic, and business collaboratives, AHIABGA collaboratives, to empower our GP4RD FFHE members, who will be tasked with establishing a global network of community unity garden learning centers, where hybrid exchange programs and practicum learning will be delivered by the members of UnityNet's partners to all members of the global partnership and our learning partnership for global unity. The learning programs are intended to be delivered through our Global Sister Schools program in partnership with the members of the Global Unity Network. In support of the UnityNet and Ad Hoc International Advisory Board of Goodwill Ambassadors project of localization of the global goals and the establishment of a responsible, localized, productive, compassionate, collaborative, regenerative economy that leaves no one behind. So now at this point, I'd like to say a little bit about the events that are coming up. Before we get to our guest speaker today, I'd like to announce these events. The first event I would like to announce is our next UnityNet Youth Peace Weeks 2023 event. During this first Youth Peace Month in October, our upcoming event takes place next Tuesday, October 24th, and is a very new subject for us to be doing. The subject of the presentation is the implications of AI on society and how we may be able to prepare for these things and changes and challenges. The event takes place at 11 a.m. Toronto time. Again, it is next Tuesday, October 24th, which happens to be United Nations Day. You can find the details in the chat I'll put later and register to attend by going to the UnityNet International Eventbrite collection for our Youth Peace Weeks. I'd also like to encourage all of our members to also consider to take part in a global drumming event on that day, United Nations Day, Tuesday, October 24th at 12 noon. This is the event that one of our partners at UnityNet is also organizing on UN Day globally. Mitch Gold and his partners at the UN Office of the Future, which is developing programs for peacemaking, not just peacekeeping, which the UN is still focused on, has asked me to say a few words on his behalf ahead of our UnityNet Implications of AI in Society event on UN Day. In his words, he says, "Dear youth of the world, you are living in a time of unprecedented change and opportunity. The rapid development of artificial intelligence is transforming every aspect of our lives, from education to entertainment, from health to commerce, from communication to creativity. AI has the potential to bring immense benefits to humanity, but it also poses significant challenges and risks. As the future leaders and innovators of our world, you have a responsibility to prepare yourselves for the impact of AI on your personal and professional lives. You need to develop the skills and mindset that will enable you to use AI wisely and ethically, to collaborate with AI effectively and respectfully, and to contribute to the advancement of AI for the common good. One of the ways you can prepare yourselves for this new era is by participating in drum circles. Drum circles are a fun and engaging way to connect with people and create music together. They can help you develop many of the qualities of competencies that are essential for thriving in the age of AI, such as creativity, collaboration, communication, confidence, and compassion. Drum circles are not only beneficial for individuals, but also for communities and societies. They can promote social inclusion, cultural diversity, civic engagement, and collective action. They can also provide the space for dialogue, reflection, and learning about various topics and issues related to AI, such as its history, development, applications, implications, opportunities, challenges, ethics, and governance. Therefore, I urge you to join or start a drum circle at your school, your neighborhood, or online platform. Invite your friends, family members, teachers, mentors, or anyone who is interested in drumming and AI. Explore the power of rhythm and sound together. Learn from each other's experiences and insights. Prepare yourselves for the future with drumming. What I also wanted to mention as well is that just this past Monday, October 16th, was World Food Day. This day is officially the end of our UnityNet Youth Peace Weeks, and is the date when we plan to host our future Climate Smart Youth Forum hybrid events. However, this year, we were not quite ready to do these events. This year, we are still in the process of building our network of networks that is UnityNet, and we are actively seeking out partners and funding to turn our vision of the peace centers and life learning gardens into reality in all of our UnityNet communities. I did want to mention one thing about this event, however, and that is it is that we wanted to rebroadcast some videos on World Food Day last Monday. These videos are the WTF recordings done with Dr. Paul Olivier for the waste transformation closed-loop farming systems that he has been promoting and showcasing to Dalat, Vietnam, a community in the central highlands of that country, which is on the east coast of Asia and Southeast Asia. We also wanted to discuss at least two other things. The first is a pilot project that Dr. Olivier has started to do with some indigenous peoples of Vietnam in some of the villages near the city of Dalat, as well as in places like Laos and Cambodia nearby, where their living conditions and production systems and environments are similar. The second thing I wanted to mention are our plans for a UnityNet Pine Forest Eco-Village development project in Asia, with its rice husk homes and climate smart kitchen learning centers, as a place that could also include a UnityNet Peace Center and Community Unity Hub CSAV Center as well. It would also include a unique kind of restaurant with a pig pen in the middle. And it would also become a place where all of the farmers of the valleys in all of the communities, in all of the regional watersheds, could come to learn about the various regenerative and climate smart waste transformation and food growing systems, which includes the closed loop WTF production systems that Dr. Olivier has been promoting, but where the kitchen learning centers would also be places where people from the entire watershed could come to learn about things like bubble solutions and also how to organize their own local social enterprise that would benefit all of the watershed farmers. Finally, in the months of October, over the next week before next Thursday and the end of this month, I wanted to mention some upcoming events in UN calendar, also including World Development Information Day on October 24th. You should recognize that as UN Day, and the start of 2 weeks that are important in the UN calendar as well. The first is Disarmament Week, which takes place from the 24th to the 30th of October, and Global Media and Information Literacy Week, which takes place from the 24th to the 31st of October. And I also wanted to mention that we may also be doing a special event on World Cities Day. which is the following Tuesday, October 31st, aka Halloween. We would, of course, do it in the morning of that day, probably at our usual time of 11 a.m. What we are proposing is a follow-up discussion with Dr. Paul Olivier about his waste transformation closely farming systems and processes that he is teaching to people in Vietnam, as well as a practical discussion about a pilot project that Dr. Olivier is doing right now with those Indigenous peoples of Vietnam and a specific village in that country. In addition to having a discussion about the proposed UnityNet Prime Forest Eco-Village project, which may also be twinned with some others in places like Kenya and Canada, and perhaps more, such as in the Philippines, and Bermuda and New Zealand, and various other places inter-island and Africa and Asia, and perhaps beyond, as we seek to create something concrete and practical.
Lloyd, I do have one other. I'd like to share my screen briefly after you end.
Okay, so we are at the closing of the intro. So I do want to mention that our guest speaker for this Thursday is Gabriela Malaika, our UnityNet Uganda member, also a member of UnityNet Africa and Diaspora Continental Network, or UNAD, and the founder and executive director of Javoa International.
Lloyd, excuse me. Before you introduce Malaika, I'd like to stop recording and get your introduction in it. But before you do that, I'd like to share my screen just briefly, if I may.
Okay. Do I need to stop my own share?
I can do that on my side this time.
Okay.
Okay. So just briefly, today also is the Great Shakeout earthquake drill around the world. This was actually launched here in California back in 2008, but it was actually expanded worldwide. I just want to bring to everyone's attention, as we know, there was a devastating earthquake in Asia just last week, but here in California at 4 o'clock this morning, we had a brief 4.1 earthquake as well. But I just wanted to share with everyone that you can go to shakeout.org, shakeout.org for information about these drills. They happen on, today is 10/19. So at 10:19 a.m. here in Los Angeles and everywhere around the world at 10:19 a.m., there will be earthquake drills. So many have already begun because we're at the tail end of the world time zones. But I just wanted to share with you again the fact that this is International Shakeout Day. So with that, I'll stop sharing and turn it back over to you, Lloyd. I'm going to stop recording and then start again for your introduction to Malaika. And Malaika, thank you so very much for your presentation. It was so vital and important. I can't tell you how unhappy I am about the outcome from last week, but I appreciate your courage for coming back, and you're among friends and family. So what you're doing is very important. I'm going to stop recording and start again.